Hey everyone! Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something super important, the official rulebook that keeps your money safe in a SACCO. This is all about governance, the system that's supposed to make sure your savings are protected. So let's get right into it. So, let's start with the one question that's probably on your mind, the one that really matters. When you put your hard-earned cash into a SACCO, is it actually safe? Well, the answer to that big question really boils down to just one thing: strong governance. And look, I know what you're thinking. Governance sounds like boring paperwork, right? But it's not. Seriously, think of it more like the blueprint for trust. It's the framework that keeps everything stable and your money secure. Okay, so Section 1, your power as a member. We're calling this the foundation of the pyramid. So where does all this strength and security actually come from? Well, picture a pyramid of power. And guess who's at the very bottom, holding everything up? That's right. It's you, the member. You are the rock-solid foundation. And the regulations, the official rules, they couldn't be clearer about this. The supreme authority, that's the official term for who has the final say, it doesn't belong to some manager in a fancy office or the CEO. No, it's vested in you, the members. You are the owners, and that ultimate power is in your hands. And you exercise that power together in the general meetings. But with great power comes great responsibility, right? And your one single, most important job as a member, it's to elect a credible, competent, and most of all, a trustworthy board of directors. These are the people who are going to represent your interests. Okay, so let's move up that pyramid. Next up, guardians of the SACCO, the board of directors. Once you've done your job and elected them, this board officially becomes the guardians of the SACCO. Their whole purpose is to protect the institution and, of course, every single member's stake in it. And there's this fantastic phrase in the law that really spells out what's expected of them. It says, the board shall exercise prudence and diligence of ordinary men of business. Now, what on earth does that mean? It's simple, really. They have to treat the SACCO's money with the exact same care and seriousness that a smart, responsible business owner would treat their own company's money. No funny business. So what does this guardianship look like in practice? Well, it breaks down into a few key financial duties. First off, they have to make sure the books are clean and accurate. Second, they set up strong internal controls, systems to stop fraud before it happens. Third, they have to be realistic and set aside money for any potential loan losses. And finally, and this is a big one, they must present the fully audited accounts to you, the members, every single year. Total transparency. But they're not just number crunchers or watchdogs. They're also the strategic architects of the whole operation. The board is the one creating the rulebook, the official policies for everything. We're talking human resources, how credit is given out, where the SACCO invests its money, savings, liquidity, managing risk, even how your dividends get calculated. They are literally setting the course for the entire ship. And the rules are pretty smart about efficiency, too. A board can't just meet whenever they want and run up a huge bill. They're capped at a maximum of 12 meetings in a financial year. That's about once a month. It's the perfect balance, right? It ensures they're keeping a close eye on things without wasting the SACCO's money. And get this, commitment isn't optional. It's mandatory. If a director misses 3 meetings in a row without a really good reason, they're automatically out, gone. The rules make sure that only the people who are truly active and engaged get to stay at the helm. This all points to one thing. Being a director is a role of service, and it comes with some serious accountability. They can't get a salary, only reimbursements for expenses. To prevent any conflicts of interest, a person can't be a director in more than one SACCO at a time. They're the ones who hire and, if necessary, fire the CEO. And maybe the biggest point of all, if their decisions or their negligence cause the SACCO to lose money, they are held personally and collectively liable. That means their own assets could be on the line. Talk about accountability. All right, so let's check in on our pyramid again. Next up, the captain of the ship, the chief executive officer. So if the board is the one that decides where the ship is going and draws the map, who's the one actually at the wheel steering it every single day? Well, that's the CEO. And making sure these two roles are separate is absolutely critical for a healthy SACCO. It's simple. The board thinks long-term. They're all about strategy, policy, and oversight. The CEO, on the other hand, manages the present. They're the ones implementing the policy and running the day-to-day operations. It's the classic difference between the people who design the car and the person who actually drives it. So yeah, the CEO's job is all about execution. They take the board's grand plans and make them happen. They manage the staff, they make sure everything is running smoothly, like a well-oiled machine. But look at that last point. It's crucial. They are always reporting back to the board. They have to give frequent and thorough reports on absolutely everything. The board is always in the loop. Okay, so having the right people in the right seats is great. But how do you make sure everyone actually plays by the rules and behaves ethically? That brings us to our next section, the rules of the game. We're talking code of conduct and consequences. Now, this isn't just some nice-to-have suggestion, it's the law. Every single SACCO is legally required to have an official code of conduct. And it's not just something they can write up themselves, it has to be approved by the main regulatory authority. This creates a clear, black and white standard for how everyone is expected to behave. No excuses. And believe me, this code has teeth. It's not just a piece of paper. If an officer violates the code of conduct, they can face some pretty serious consequences. We're talking a fine of up to 100,000 shillings, and that can even be combined with up to a year in prison. So yeah, breaking these rules is a very big deal. All right, let's start to pull all these threads together. We've looked at the blueprint for trust, right? The theory, the rules. But the big question is, how do you take that blueprint and turn it into a real, solid building that can actually withstand challenges? That's what this next section is about, putting governance into practice from blueprint to reality. It really all comes down to a cycle, a loop that has to keep turning. Step 1. It starts with you, the members, electing the right people, a credible, competent board. Step 2. That board then does its job, overseeing everything diligently, setting smart policies, and holding management accountable. And step 3, the CEO and their team take those policies and implement them with total professionalism. When all three parts of that cycle are working together, the SACCO doesn't just survive, it thrives. And honestly, that is the most important thing to take away from all of this. Having this amazing framework, this perfect blueprint on paper, that's just the start. It's powerful, for sure, but unlocking its real potential, the power to protect your money and help the SACCO grow, that comes down to one thing: professional, consistent, disciplined implementation. It's all in the execution. Because at the end of the day, knowing the rules is one thing, but actually applying them effectively, day in and day out, is what builds a truly resilient and trustworthy SACCO. And that's the difference between just having a blueprint and actually constructing a strong, safe building. For specialized consulting on these matters and to see how this roadmap fits your organization, please reach out directly at 0107 719 089.